There is only so much that a nation can take. One shock to the system after another. A renegade, rogue Congress out of control, disconnected from the people. A renegade rogue press out of touch with the American people, and all we have left are the people. Today, of course, you know the story. Or do you? Do you know the story or don't you? Nidal Malik Hassan, a military officer, Major Malik Nidal Hassan, age 39, allegedly a psychiatrist, went on a killing spree and shot at least 13, killed 13, and wounded at least 31 today at Fort Hood. He was stopped eventually by a local police SWAT team, one of whose members was killed in the carnage. Many questions are being asked today on the Savage Nation and elsewhere. Number one, what is his motivation? Was this a sleeper cell? Is this terrorism? Have we an obligation to ask these questions when the government will not do it for us? They're going to spin this. All the government is doing, as I speak to you right now, is going to cover up the fact that he may be a Muslim convert. That's all you're going to hear tonight and tomorrow. It's all you're going to hear. It has no meaning. It has no bearing. It wasn't a sleeper cell. It was one man. He was under stress. They're going to tell you he was depressed from what he had seen, that all the men coming back who was so hurt, he tried to do it, didn't know what he was doing. It was not a cell, and the other man, they don't know who it is. He disappeared. Like Jack Ruby already they're going to cover the whole thing up, whatever it was. That's all I can tell you. That's my opinion. I don't care whether you like my opinion or not. You're going to get my opinion whether you like it or not. We live in America where there's a free country. That is until Hussein took over. We were living in a free country until he took over and started to put in diversity chiefs who didn't like talk radio. Diversity chiefs. Oh, Sieg Heil! Diversity is here. Sieg Heil, the diversity chief, doesn't like anyone talking against the president. Sounds awfully like Germany, 1930s, current country in South America, another country in the Caribbean, another country in the Soviet Union, ex-Soviet Union. Sieg Heil, they don't like what we have to say about the leader. That's our job, schmuck. Our job is to say, wait a minute, the leader has no clothes when he has no clothes. We're not supposed to sit here and kiss his behind like you do. You're paid to kiss his behind. We're paid to make sure he doesn't turn us all into serfs. That's our job. Now let's get down to brass tacks. Who is the shooter? Is the fact that he's a Muslim convert, according to the early reports, important or not? Why did he do it? Was this a post-traumatic stress disorder? I don't know. They say he had not been to Iraq. He was only upset about going to Iraq. The weapons that were used were handguns. And yet 31 wounded, 12 or 13 killed. Let's see, 2 handguns, a couple of clips. Why was he not stopped? Well, one of the people killed that we know of was a policeman at the door. And what's interesting about this, and actually quite surprising, is that the military policeman was not actually a military policeman. He was a contractor. Now, I have a question for you. When did the military start hiring outside contractors to be military policemen, and why? Well, I think it happened about the same time that the corrupt Republicans were hiring outside companies connected to Dick Cheney, allegedly, to cook the meals for our troops. And apparently it's $16 a plate. What, you mean there are no cooks in the Army anymore? What the heck do they all do? I had guys call me from Iraq 10 years ago and say, do you understand that each tray is $12 billed to the taxpayer? And if you go back for seconds, they get billed another $12? I said, wait a minute, you're not making this up. They said, no, we have military contractors, meaning private firms, providing us with meals, providing us with medical care. Don't you understand that this is all of the military-industrial complex at work? But that's a second story here. This was all introduced under George Bush, which is why he was thrown out on his keister, because people were fed up with the corruption. They know it. People aren't stupid. So they put in this guy, this BS artist, who said he's going to, new day, transparency, everything's going to be different. And you wake up and the same thing is, it's not only different, it's worse. The people go almost on a riot saying we don't want socialized medicine. We're kind of happy with the medical care system we have. And he calls them Nazis. Nancy Pelosi says they're crazy, they're Nazis, they're fascists. You hear? It's unbelievable to me. that this woman, this out-of-control wretch called Nancy Lugosi, why do I call her Nancy Lugosi? Because it reminds me of Bela Lugosi in a horror movie. Every day it's like another horror show. But let's get back to this. You want to hear another shock to your system? The Senate Democrat Leninist Party today blocked a U.S. citizenship question from the census, meaning there was a question that said, are you a U.S. citizen, that the communists called Democrats, because make no mistake about it, the Democrat Party today is the Communist Party USA. The official platform of CPUSA and the Democrats is almost the same. The CPUSA, Communist Party USA, and the Democrats are almost identical. I don't care what they say on MSNBC. Those deviants and perverts don't matter to me. Why shouldn't you ask someone who you're including in a U.S. census if you're a citizen? The answer is because they want to include as many non-citizens as possible so they can steal your country from you. The same way they're flooding the military and the police and every other institution with people who might shoot you in the back. And I'll stop right there. I'll stop right there. You know what's going on. You know what's going on. You knew in your heart who this was. You knew it in your heart who this was. You knew it. You knew it and I knew it. You knew it and I knew it. You knew it and I knew it. But you couldn't even say it, could you? You weren't allowed to even think it. In fact, you could be arrested for thinking it before it happened.